Democrats laying the groundwork for a 2028 presidential run are accidentally making the case that President Trump is actually a good president. So last week, California Governor Gavin Newsom took a tour of South Carolina. He was obviously dipping his toes in the water and preparing to build his infrastructure. Well, another name that's in the mix that's not getting as much attention is Rahm Emanuel. According to Axios, former Chicago Mayor Rahm Emanuel considering 2028 presidential run. But it's not just them. According to NBC News, Rahm Emanuel confronts awkward prospect of facing a home state rival in 2028 presidential race. It would only be awkward because apparently Governor J.B. Pritzker is also considering a run. But the clearest indication that Emanuel is actually serious about 2028 is a sit-down interview he did with Chuck Todd, where he said that he still has one more race in him. Take a look.
And welcome to Sunday Night. I'm Chuck Todd.
I got one office left in me.
Joining me this week, Rahm Emanuel, former mayor of Chicago, former White House chief of staff, former ambassador to Japan. He's trying to jolt his party back to a forward-looking, pragmatic identity. And some say he's even laying the groundwork for a presidential run in 2028.
I think I have something to offer that others don't.
Since Obama left the stage, the gravitational force holding the Democratic Party together has mostly been opposition, particularly opposition to Donald Trump. That's not a sustainable governing identity. And it's contributed to the growing perception that the Democrats don't actually stand for anything anymore.
The Democratic establishment was just in denial about what their voters wanted.
When you strip away the economic coherence of the left, and frankly, on the right as well, what's left holding either political party together?
This is Sunday Night.
With me, Chuck Todd.
Yeah, and it wasn't just that appearance. He's also been beefing up his TV appearances. He sat down with CNN's Dana Bash, and that's where he made an admission, again, unintentionally. He accidentally made the case that, yes, President Trump is a president of peace. He's not starting wars overseas. I don't know what point Rahm Emanuel was trying to make here, but see if you pick up on the same clue I did.
Let me get one side note, and we'll come back at this. Have you noticed something? There's a couple articles recently about the Trump doctrine.
Yeah.
That's one and done, etc. The only, a missile hit Soleimani or a missile hit in the Trump doctrine, the only place in the world that Donald Trump has put boots on the ground and deployed troops is in America. He has never deployed troops in 6 years of a presidency anywhere in the world except for Los Angeles.
It's really interesting.
If you think of what a doctrine is and the deployment of your national defense and security apparatus in exercise
in the air, but not on the ground. Yeah.
Yeah. Soleimani, he's killed in Iraq. Iran, he bombs the nuclear facilities. And in LA, they get troops on the ground. That's the Trump doctrine. The only place he's actually put boots on the ground is in an American city.
So I'm not sure what point Rahm Emanuel thinks he's making there, because I don't think it's the point he thinks he's making. Like, is he upset that President Trump hasn't started any new wars? Is that why he's pointing out, oh, President Trump hasn't put troops overseas? I mean, it was the Democrats who warned us, right, that President Trump was going to start World War III when there was talk about bombing Iran. They were warning us, oh, he's going to invade Iran. It's going to be Iraq 2.0. Of course, those things never happened. Now, President Trump did deploy troops to Los Angeles, but it's not as if Los Angeles was under martial law. It's not as if those troops took over the streets. And in fact, they didn't even confront all of the rioters. Where those troops were positioned were outside of ICE facilities, the same ICE facilities that were being attacked by the rioters, that were being attacked by the radical leftists. So basically, troops were only put out there to restore peace, to protect federal property, federal agents. That's not the same thing as attacking your citizens. So again, what point is Rahm Emanuel trying to make? I have no idea. The second point I would like to make is, for all the talk that the Democrats have of needing to provide solutions, needing to provide an alternative, Rahm Emanuel just showed us that it's easier said than done, because he himself couldn't do it. He spent that entire segment bashing President Trump, bashing how he's handling foreign affairs, the military, etc., but Rahm Emanuel never revealed what he would have done in those situations. He never revealed what the Rahm Emanuel doctrine would be. And I feel like that's why President Trump is probably as comfortable as he is in regards to the Epstein controversy going on right now. I know that's a tangent, but if you think about it, Obviously, MAGA right now is splintering into all sorts of different camps over Epstein. Some people say there's nothing to see here. Some people believe that the deep state is outmaneuvering President Trump. And then you have people all over the spectrum, from people believing Epstein was a Mossad or CIA agent to people believing that the Clintons were involved. I mean, no matter where people are, the reality is even if you're upset with President Trump, it's not as if the left has an alternative. And it's not as if there's another camp you can run into. Now, I think Steve Bannon probably said it best in that the best or worst case, depending on how you view it, scenario is that in the midterms, people who are disaffected and disappointed in how the Trump administration is handling this, assuming that they don't change course, they're probably just going to sit home during the midterms. And given the structural disadvantages that Republicans usually have during the midterms, then that obviously is going to be a very bad thing, especially when you consider the super thin majorities in both the House and the Senate. But, you know, where are disaffected Republicans going to go? It's not as if the Democrats have an alternative right now. One final point I would like to make while we're on this topic, the controversy over Epstein proves that the right isn't a cult. The fact that people can question President Trump, people can question the administration, Pam Bondi, and everyone involved. I mean, the left told us that we were all cultists. We worship President Trump. We think there's nothing he can do wrong. Now, don't get me wrong. There are some people, and I would say they are a very small minority, who believe President Trump can do no wrong. He's perfect. And okay, maybe those people are in a cult, but the rest of us who have no problem questioning, even if you're not questioning in regards to Epstein, I think the vast majority of us can pinpoint, hey, President Trump isn't perfect. I might not like everything he does. I might not like the mean tweets, but he's a heck of a lot better than Kamala Harris or any of the other Democrat alternatives out there right now. And so for Rahm Emanuel, Gavin Newsom, and any of the other 2028 hopefuls going out there trying to lay the groundwork, I don't think they're doing themselves any favors. Now, speaking of cover-ups, more was exposed in regards to Joe Biden's cover-up. But before we get into that, I would like to acknowledge Genda Monoro as the member of today's Governor's Club. These are people who give tips and super thanks to the channel. I am so glad that you enjoy. So last month, President Trump really hammered Joe Biden over the use of the auto pen, especially when it came to clemencies and pardons. Well, Joe Biden responded in June, writing, "Let me be clear. I made the decisions during my presidency. I made the decisions about pardons, executive orders, legislation, and proclamations. Any suggestion that I didn't is ridiculous and false." Well, Joe Biden is apparently still in panic mode because he recently granted an interview to the New York Times. They published 2 different articles on Sunday evening. One was the transcript of that interview, and the other one was this article right here. Biden says he made the clemency decisions that were recorded with AutoPen. Now, personally, I don't have a problem with AutoPen. I feel like it's pretty similar to DocuSign. You know, on DocuSign, for those of you unfamiliar, you know, you click a button and you give your consent for it to electronically sign for you. So if someone has a lot of documents that need to be signed, if you personally approve it, I don't see the issue. If you think about it, the AutoPen really is just another form of automation. So I don't think that the AutoPen in itself is a bad thing. We know other presidents, other politicians have used it. Rather, the issue here is, did Joe Biden consent to it being used? And even if he did consent, did he know, was he aware of every situation that the AutoPen was used for? And given Joe Biden's state of awareness or lack thereof mentally over the last few years, I believe it's a very fair question to ask. And believe it or not, the New York Times exposes the people, the very names involved in this cover-up. One of them is Jeff Zients, who was Joe Biden's chief of staff. So they had a chain of command, and in their emails, Jeff Zients, the very last paragraph here, he hit reply all and wrote, "I approve the use of the AutoPen for the execution of all of the following pardons." Now, that right there in writing is very interesting. He didn't say Joe Biden approves of or the president approves, but rather I approve. What gives you, as chief of staff, the authority to approve the AutoPen? It's not your signature, it's your boss's signature, it's the president's signature. So that right there, red flag number 1. But it gets even worse because it appears, you know, if there is a conspiracy and if there was a cover-up, I mean, these people aren't idiots, right? They're going to cover their tracks, and it appears that's exactly what they did. So again, in another email from Ed Siskel, who was Joe Biden's White House counsel, he wrote, "The president makes the final decision on the final part pardon and or commutation slates. So if you just take that at surface level and accept it as it is, oh, Joe Biden was aware, he did make these choices. But the problem is that the administration, the officials, they all contradict themselves. So it turns out there were actually 4 different rounds, 4 different sets of commutations, pardons, clemency being granted to various people. And it was the last set that caught everyone's attention, right? Because it was the 4th set that included preemptive pardons for Joe Biden's family members, as well as various people like Anthony Fauci. So we do know that there was a chain of command in regard to these pardons. Basically, Biden supposedly he created these requirements for pardons, clemencies, commutations, and the like. But it was the aides who actually crafted these lists. And according to the New York Times, basically what happened was that none of the aides were actually in the room with Joe Biden. It was only Jeff Zients as well as Ed Siskel. They were meeting with Biden, and then they would meet with the aides without Biden, and they would tell the aides who would make it onto the list, and the aides would transcribe it. So if you think about it, it really was just one long game of telephone. And if you've ever played the game telephone in elementary school, you know how quickly that message can get jumbled down the line. It only takes one person to fumble it higher up the line, and it just trickles down and gets worse, worse, and worse. But that is not all. Again, in the New York Times article, Mr. Biden did not individually approve each name for the categorical pardons that applied to large numbers of people he and aides confirmed. So not only did he not approve each name individually, that right there is in direct contradiction to what was in the email earlier, which was the president makes the final decision on the final pardon and or commutation slate. So that is a contradiction. You're contradicting yourselves. Joe Biden is contradicting himself. Which one are we supposed to believe? But as always, all of that is just my analysis and commentary. That is what's going on in the world of politics from my point of view, and I would love to hear from you. So, going back to the original topic of the video, Rahm Emanuel, where does he fall on your fantasy political league? Is he who you want to run against, or someone you want to see in the Democrat apparatus at that time, or is he someone that you're afraid of and wouldn't want to run against? So let me know your thoughts on that down below. If you haven't already, please be sure to leave me a thumbs up. I know it's a simple thing to ask for, but it really does help me reach more viewers like you in the algorithm. Be sure to smash that subscribe button and to check out one of these videos.